Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be talking about something of a very serious nature. Many of you have heard about someone named Damar Hamlin, and he's a safety for the Buffalo Bills. He had cardiac arrest on the field on yesterday, on Monday, and now he's in some intensive care unit. He's in critical condition. They wound up postponing the Bengals-Bills game as a result of that. It occurred during the game that where the Bengals played the Bills, and um, it ended. They suspended it, or I should say, postponed it temporarily, and I don't think they have a date that they've determined where they're going to resume it. But this is something people have to really understand. First, I want to say my prayers go out to the family and close friends of Damar Hamlin, and of course to Damar Hamlin as well. Um, for me, I mean, this is something very shocking to see, and they don't have. At this point in time, they don't have, I don't think, a precise or exact timeline when the game's going to be resumed. But it's really something that holds less significance comparatively speaking to what is going on, and given the magnitude of what's happened, I can understand that. I mean, this is something where this is where something that reflects that life takes precedence over sports. And basically sports are very superficial conquests, and we look at this from a comparative standpoint. This is certainly nothing that is more important than a life and death situation. And um, Damar Hamlin's only 24 years old. He's essentially in the prime of his life, and this is just a terrible thing someone has to go through. Again, he's currently in critical condition. He's in intensive care unit. And again, not to be redundant, but I want to give my prayers go out to him, the family, the close friends of Damar at this time. And um, this is something where when we see something like this, it's a reminder, that nobody's invincible, to trauma. No one's impervious to it. It don't matter, if you're a physically fit athlete, if you're somebody that's out of shape, if you're older, debilitated, if you're young, strong, and healthy. There's no favoritism, really, not much. I mean, it may be if you're not, in the best physical shape, but the point being, it still could happen, to anybody, you know. It may happen to some, there may be greater propensity for something like this to happen to certain kinds of people. Like I stated before, if somebody's not in best physical health, older people, etc. But in theory, it could happen, to anybody, any age, any health level, what have you. This is something that really hit home, and I was even choked up about this last night, admittingly. And I think part of it was because just that this was such spontaneous and shocking event that took place. And when I looked on the television screen last night, and I was tuning in about 8:30 Central Time to watch some of the game. And when it was temporarily like suspended, I'm thinking maybe there was some weather delay or something like that. And then I understood that there was a player that got injured, and then I found out about the severity of what happened with this player. Um, Happened was wide receiver of the Bengals, T. Higgins, had been tackled by Damar. But what happened was when Damar made the tackle, Damar's a safety for the Bills. He made the tackle on this wide receiver, and I think what happened was the wide receiver let in with his shoulder or something, and it hit Damar Hamlin in the chest, and then consequently after that, that's what had led to the cardiac arrest on the field. Now he was Damar Hamlin was revived and resuscitated. They got him to where he was breathing, but he's still in critical condition at this time. And I want to say it's just a tremendous thing to see the NFL as a whole collectively come out and show their immense compassion to this person. And everybody just trying, people, maybe not everybody, but many people in the NFL, showing this prodigious support to this man. Whether it's players on their own team on the Buffalo Bills or they're players that are outside of the organization. Everybody is like a whole, at this time. The NFL is showing, by showing this immense support, they're showing that they're a family in unity at this time. I think it's very important. We're in very, trying times right now. People are going through, a lot of, trials and tribulations, and, we have this thing still ongoing with the COVID scare in the, in the United States. We have, but, it shows that people can still, come together when needed. And this is a, classic example of that. I saw last night where they had a Bengals, fan, holding a sign which was showing support for Damar Hamlin, and I think it's a class act. And it looked like that there were a number of Bengals fans that were in the stadium that despondent, that were really, they really felt for Damar Hamlin. It shows that even if you have, certain animosity toward a team because he's on it and he's an opposing, when you have a team that's opposing your team in an NFL game, you obviously are going to be adversarial to some degree toward that team. But the reality is when, outside of the game, people still, can show love and support to opposing players, when it's a situation such as this. And I think it's tremendous to show that kind of support for somebody. And it's really the thing about this is it just shows you anything could happen to anybody anytime. I know he's alive, but what I'm still going to say is that life is, it's very short, even for people that live a full life. And life could end virtually any time. So precious. We don't know what's going to happen one day to the next people, and just, do the best you can, be the best person you can on a day-to-day basis. And I was stating before, nobody's invincible to sudden trauma. No one's impervious to it. There's no, we're all human beings. We all have certain susceptibility, to debilitations, to illness, to trauma, that things that could happen to us physically that are devastating, that can happen in a very impromptu and spontaneous manner. And I thought when I looked, I heard that a number of the players in that game last night, encircled Damar Hamlin, and they were like kind of basically just giving him, privacy and respect, so the other, onlookers couldn't really see him at that time. I thought that was, amazing for them to do that. And we have to understand that these players, they go on the field and they basically perform for us. We see them, as these superheroes sometimes. They have these superhuman, athletic, abilities. But we'd have to remember too is that, behind all that, they are human beings, and they still have emotion. There's still feelings. There's still sentiment. There's sadness, dejection, despondency behind all that. And I saw the Buffalo Bills players. A number of them appeared very disconsolate last night, and we know that we're all human beings, people, and there is tremendous sensitivity shown toward this person, and I think that is amazing, awesome that it has been shown to Damar during this time. He had some kind of GoFundMe page, and um, he's gotten a lot of support for it. And after this had happened, and I do hope that he recovers from this very soon. Dan Orlovsky, he's a I guess you call him NFL analyst now. He was a former NFL quarterback, and he showed really class act. He said a prayer for Damar today. It was on, I think it was NFL Live on ESPN. I mean, it's unbelievable that these the people are just giving so much compassion and support toward Damar at this time, and it just shows the the NFL is at this point, they're acting like a virtual family for Damar, and I think, and it's very touching to see these actions, and people expressing a lot of altruism and selflessness at this time for Damar Hamlin. And it just again, life can be very short. I had my father had passed away at the age of 38. He succumbed to Hodgkin's disease in 1974. I have to be fortunate at this point in time that I'm still alive at 52 years old. You hear so many people pass away at an early age, and I hope Damar is not one of them. Prayers do go out to him and his family and close friends at this time. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL segment. And until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.